There will be no smiling anywhere in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Green Bay, or anywhere else where they wear cheese on their heads, because yesterday did not go well for a team that's been 26-6, Mike, over the last 2 seasons, and everyone thought they'd go to Jacksonville, got the easy draw, got the Saints out of the Superdome, the cheeseheads will travel, and they did. My goodness, they walked into a buzzsaw. The Saints get the win 38-3. Jameis Winston, 5 touchdown passes. He only threw the ball 20 times, Mike, and he threw 5 touchdown passes. Unbelievable performance. 148 yards and 5 touchdown passes. It's one of those things where when you look at the stats, like something's wrong here. It's not wrong. 5 touchdown passes on 148 yards and 20 throws. I expected him to be good in this offense working with Sean Payton. How much did it surprise you that he had 5 touchdowns?
Oh, it without question surprised me. Now, I did think he was going to do well in this offense as well. One thing I definitely knew with the over 30 interceptions he threw last year, I guaranteed on some shows that he would not do it this year because Sean Payton wouldn't leave him on the field if he was turning the ball over, and he was not here. You mentioned the 140-some yards passing. Well, on 4 of the touchdowns, the first 4, he had only passed for 93 yards. He had 4 touchdowns and only passed for 93 yards. That was amazing to me. They ran the ball extremely well, ran it for 171 yards, so they controlled the clock. I think that was the key. Don't put too much pressure on Jameis Winston. It's his second go-around, and a lot of people were wondering, is he a guy that's going to get humbled a little bit for how he was in college, how he came into the league, and then how that ended in Tampa Bay, and now he's the guy replacing a walk-in Hall of Famer in Drew Brees. So how was that going to work? And then he has the quarterback, battle going on with Taysom Hill, which, in all honesty, I didn't think it was going to be much. I think this was the way it was going to be because you can still use Taysom Hill the way you wanted to use him. So how is he going to be used in Sean Payton's offense? And we see when the running game, now there's going to be different games when he's going to have to throw it 30 or 40 times in some of these games. You can't always count on the running game, but that was the beauty of this offense with Drew Brees, and then you had Alvin Kamara, as you could, and then Brees was such a great passer and wouldn't turn the ball over. That's going to be the biggest fear, I think, for Saints fans is, will we hit a turnover station at some point for Jameis Winston? But I think Sean Payton can kind of alleviate that a little bit with the running game. I was extremely impressed, very surprised, and I'm glad at least we talked about them first, because talking about the Green Bay Packers and what went on in the offseason and just how bad that's all been, they looked horrific yesterday.
Well, and Taysom Hill, you mentioned him. He did not do much. They didn't need him to do much. He had 2 rushing attempts for a grand total of 1 yard and 1 throw, 1 completion, 3 yards. So he didn't do much, didn't have any receptions in the passing game. Of course, there were only 14 of them to go around. Mike, my take on Jameis Winston has been that he, from time to time, tries to do more than he's physically capable of doing. We saw it in college. We saw it in Tampa Bay. He thinks he can make a throw that he can't make. He thinks he can make a play with his feet that he can't make. He pushes to the limit of his skills and then tries to go farther than that, and I can relate to that. That pretty much sums up my entire athletic career, trying to do more than I was physically capable of doing. Sean Payton will get him to play within himself. There was and if you check out Peter King's Football Morning in America column, he talks about a play where Jameis didn't have anything. He just threw it away. Didn't try to make something happen. I think that's the key. And if Sean Payton can drill that into him, we're going to have far more good performances than we're going to have those head scratchers where you see the play and it's like, what was he trying to do? Well, he was trying to do more than he's able to do. That's simple, and Payton will keep that from happening. And like you said, if he tries to do more than he can do, he's going to be on the sideline.
So, and here's my thought on that. When I get a player coming out of college, doesn't matter the position, but here we're talking about quarterback. I want to coach a guy that I maybe have to pull back some and not ask for more. So we saw it at Florida State. We certainly saw it in Tampa Bay. And everything you said was 100% correct. He tried to do too much. But at least I'll take that to get with the right coach to back him off then, instead of having to go to my quarterback, you know what, I need more out of you. I need you to do this. I need you to do that more. Well, Jameis was going to do it. Jameis was going to try and throw it in where he shouldn't throw it in. So he was going to try and do all that. So to get a coach to kind of refine that, I think was going to be key for him. And we all believe Sean Payton can be that guy, because as we both said, they're not going to let him, have too many turnovers before they would pull him. So I do like the way he came into the league. I liked him when he came into the league because he took chances, and then that would be refined. Now, it didn't work out certainly in Tampa Bay with all the turnovers, but if it can work out with Sean, what a boon that's going to be for New Orleans, who is so used to Drew Brees. And let's give him a lot of credit as well. This is a displaced team, because of the hurricane, which has just been horrific for that area for a while now. So it's been displaced, and they play it in Jacksonville. And to be able to keep it together, and stay unified, because players are used to an itinerary. Players are used to consistency every day. And the Saints, and we've seen it over the years, they have been thrown off that without question with some of the things they've had to deal with.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, and it makes their win even more impressive, beating a team that was the 1 seed last year, as I mentioned, 26-6 over the past 2 seasons. So impressive win by the Saints. And one more point on Jameis, and I think this is, from the perspective of a defensive player, something you could maybe elaborate on. The idea that he has the deep ball in his arsenal. He forces those 11 guys to cover every inch of the field. When they unleash that ability to the full extent and stretch the defense, and Payton has his plays ready to go where he can take advantage of everything that opens up underneath as you stretch the defense the full 80 yards when the Saints have the ball on their own 20, that's a huge advantage that they haven't necessarily had in recent years.
No, I completely agree. And as we mentioned, 4 touchdowns, 93 yards. Then he hits, his long pass of 55 yards. He takes one down the field. Well, that's the ability also of a running game of over 170 yards. And I'll say this too, as a D lineman, as a linebacker, when you're running the ball well, you have to honor the run. So what happens on a play action? On a play action, as far as a D lineman, you're not just teeing off. You have to play the run as well. And for those linebackers, as soon as you take that 1 step up or 1 step sideways, you're going to have the ability to be beaten right over the top of the backers and right in front of the safeties, and then also deep as well, as Jameis can do. So it all works well. He's got a great long ball, and he's got a great arm. That's never been the issue with him. But if you can put it with an excellent running game with Alvin Kamara on that offensive line and do those types of things, that's going to open up a whole lot more for Jameis, something that he hasn't had in the past.
He became a free agent 2 straight years, and no one else made a serious run at him, and he's in the perfect place with the Saints. I have a feeling when this 1-year deal expires, there may be some other suitors for Jameis Winston after they see what he can do with Sean Payton.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.